Hi, I'm Mitchell Murphy, Chief Executive of Football Federation Victoria. Well, the countdown is well and truly on to the World Cup in Brazil. Today we chat with Hakan Anaz, who is off to the big event as an assistant referee, following in the footsteps of Bambridge, who officiated in the middle at the 1986 event in Mexico, and Eugene Brazzale, who was an assistant referee at the USA tournament in 1994. So Hakan, thanks for joining us. Can you just recall where you were when you found out that you got the nod to go to the World Cup?
Yeah, I was actually at home, just finished the training session the night before. We had a game at Amy Park, and I remember the boys telling me that expect an email probably in the early hours of that morning. And having finished my training session, I was obviously at home, had my shower and went downstairs, and my wife just walked in and the phone rang, and it was actually Ben Williams. And I thought, this is a little bit early, and he said to me, guess what, mate, we're going to the World Cup. And I started jumping up and down, I was screaming, and my wife had just walked in, said, what's going on, you're having a heart attack or something? And I said, no, I'm actually going to the World Cup.
Hakan, prior to your World Cup appointment,
Mm-hmm.
What would be the most memorable game that you've officiated in thus far?
The most memorable game will probably have to be at the Olympics 2012 in London, Old Trafford. It was Spain versus Morocco. So it was a fantastic game, politically as well. It was a very intense game as well. And going out to one of the greatest pitches in the world, Old Trafford, fantastic experience. That'd probably be the highlight of my career so far.
Okay. So Hakan, at this level, obviously you need to retain a high standard of fitness. What's your routine?
Routine is, we obviously fitness-wise, FIFA do monitor our fitness. We send in our heart rate monitor every week, and we have a medical report that we fill out every 2 weeks. I train between 4 to 5 nights a week, and it's a variety of speed. It'll be high intensity. You'll also have some agility work. So it is a variety, and also injury prevention training. The expectation from FIFA is that the fitness levels are high,
Sure.
And they expect us at when we arrive in Brazil that we are all injury free and raring to go.
So Hakan, we're all human, and undoubtedly there's been games where you know very quickly you've made the wrong call. How do you get through that in the heat of the battle of a game?
Well, actually, the Australian trio is quite lucky in that we actually hired a sports psychologist, and they gave us through some strategies to be able to deal with that. So, of course, we are all human. We all make mistakes, but the most important thing for me is having those strategies in place, which has obviously got me so far, to be able to use that in the game. And what I usually do is I think about the next decision. I can't change that decision if it was wrong.
Sure.
I can't change that, but I can change what's coming up. So as long as I get the next decision right, that's the most important thing. But the sports psychologists have actually provided us invaluable service to try and deal
Sure.
with those sorts of situations. And I think the three of us as well, Ben Williams and Matt Cream as well, we tend to give a lot of advice during the game and,
Sure.
and encouragement during the game, and it's really, really good knowing that that encouragement is coming through, so it tends to lift the best out of us.
Okay, great. So Hakan, at that level, there's been a lot of speculation in Australia whether referees at our top level in AR should be full-time professionals, and it must be a real challenge to mix a full-time job. What's your view? Do you think they should be full-time?
Look, I can see merits in going full-time. Like for myself, I see the work schedule that I go through. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I hold a full-time job, and after work I've obviously got to go training, and I don't get home till about 7, 8 o'clock at night. Mixed with that, the travel. We're probably travelling as elite referees and assistants on average about maybe once or twice a month.
Sure.
Last year I think we worked out that we had over 100 days overseas with seminars and fitness tests and all of that, and the time pressures on us are quite immense, and I can see full-time refereeing will benefit and keep referees and assistant referees in their job as referees and assistants obviously a lot longer. But at this stage, I don't know if the code is mature enough at this stage to be able to afford that, because when we're looking at full-time referees, you know, obviously have to make it worthwhile for the referees to give up a full-time job. I'm lucky that I have a great job that gives me a little bit of flexibility leave-wise, but it does get very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. But ultimately, I think it's the way to go. You look at a lot of countries like England and Germany, all those are going, England is obviously full-time, and a lot of other countries are following suit as well. There are huge benefits in going full-time, but I think in Australia, whether or not we're ready for that, it's all basically down to finances.
Sure.
If we can afford it, it would be fantastic.
So Hakan, during your journey to get to the elite level, who've been some outstanding mentors for you along the way?
Well, there's been a couple. When I started refereeing in 1994, I used to train with Eugene Brazzale, who was an NSL referee. He was a FIFA assistant referee and a FIFA referee as well. And I think a lot of the feedback that he used to give me and a lot of the mentoring that he gave me, I found was totally invaluable.
Sure.
I used to see him on games in the A-League, and I seen the respect that he got from his players, and that's what I strive to try and have, that sort of respect amongst the players. So Eugene Brazzale would definitely be up there for me.
Okay.
But there's been a number. I mean, you look at a lot of guys overseas as well, even within Australia. There are guys who are absolutely fantastic officials that we have here and overseas, and I think they all play a part in moulding me as a referee, as an assistant referee as well.
Okay. So Hakan, you've obviously achieved your goals to get to the very top. What advice would you pass on to referees or ARs in club level who are actually trying to strive to get through to the elite level?
I think the number one thing is commitment and working really, really hard, and also being humble as well. I think for myself, the countless hours training, looking at the law book, looking at incidents, trying to better myself as a referee, I found is obviously paying dividends at this stage. At the same time, I think commitment, you've got to be committed. Always look at your goals and see where you want to go. My goal was always to achieve a World Cup.
Sure.
You aim high.
So set the goal. Set
the goal, and if you believe in yourself, you'll always achieve that.
Okay.
As long as you do the hard work. Yeah.
Hakan, thanks for chatting with us. All the very best in Brazil. We know you'll do Victoria proud.
Thank you. Thank you.